So glad that you've decided to join us this lovely Sunday morning. We gather together from the comfort of our homes to express love, to practice radical acceptance and inclusion, and to connect with one another and with spirit. We are a powerful spiritual community, lovingly committed to a world of acceptance, compassion, peace, and joy. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the horrific fires that took place in Boulder last week. Our hearts and prayers go out to all of those who've been impacted by the fires. A percentage of our tithes this month will go to support the families and all the individuals who have been affected. And you'll see that in our newsletter. If you'd like to donate or assist in other ways, all of that is included there. Our practitioner holding us in prayer today is Lonnie Hickman. And so I just ask that you settle back, go within as we begin with an opening song and an opening prayer.
Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Alright, thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Yeah. Alright, my beautiful world. Thank you for this world, Spirit. Thank you for this world. Thank you for this world, Spirit. Thank you for this world. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful world. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful world. And thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing 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 day.
Thank you, Jimmy. What a great way to start the morning. Yeah. So if you all just join me by going within, taking that sacred breath and just allowing it to bring you into your heart. And so we know in this healing day, this Sunday, we know that Spirit is right where we are. That loving, powerful presence is right where each of us is, no matter where we are on this planet. Spirit is. That loving presence of God surrounds each of us. I'm knowing that that presence enlivens us. That presence nourishes us. That presence supports us and guides us as we walk this earthly walk in this life. I am knowing that in this moment, our hearts are open. Our hearts are ready to receive whatever it is that is needed in this moment in this time. I am knowing that Jenny's words moves through us in the absolute perfect way. That Reverend Jenny is channeling spirit as she speaks, and I am knowing that it is exactly the perfect thing that is needed in our life right now. I am knowing that the music is a blessing to us and carries us in such beautiful and profound ways through this morning, opening our hearts, opening all that we are to a deeper place, to a deeper connection to spirit, to a deeper connection within ourselves. I am knowing that we are blessed, that we are blessed as a community. We are blessed as one heart tribe. We recognize the oneness that we all share with the divine and with one another. That although we may be in our own homes, perhaps in our pajamas, sitting in our bedrooms, our living rooms, wherever we may be, I am knowing that we are still connected. We are connected by that one life that is God, that one presence that is love, that is joy, that is peace, that is harmony, that is grace, that is all good things. And so with a gracious and full heart, we let this go. We allow it to be. And together we say, and so it is.
Good morning. We're going to start, as we always start, by harmonizing our hearts. So place your hand on your chest over your heart and really feel in your body as we say this together 3 times. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. What does it take for us to recognize the meaning behind those 4 words? What must we have as a foundation of our thought in order to really care, to really appreciate, to be grateful and to practice gratitude, and to experience and practice compassion? Now, if you're like me, maybe your first answer was God or spirit or the divine or whatever name you call that invisible yet ultimate essence that Ernest Holmes calls the thing itself. And of course, you're right. For that essence, that presence is the source of all there is. It is all there is. Holmes defines it as first cause, spirit, mind, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of all creation. And he goes on to tell us that this thing, that spirit, mind, whatever term we call it by, it is beyond and yet not beyond our grasp. It is beyond, and that it is so big, it is within, and that wherever we grasp at it, we are it to the extent that we grasp it. But since it is infinite, we can never encompass God. And yet we shall always be in God and of God. He says that there is that within us which partakes of the nature of the divine being. And since it partakes of the nature of the divine being, we are divine. It reacts to us according to our belief in it. And it is an immutable law, subject to the use of the least among us. It cannot be bound. Our soul will never change or violate its own nature. All the denying of it will never change it. All the affirming of it will never make it any more than it is. But since it is what it is and works the way that it works, it appears to each through our belief. It is done to each one of us as we believe. Now, if you're new to the ideas of science of mind, everything he just said might be a little hard for you to grasp or understand. But Holmes goes on to tell us that if we find something difficult to grasp, then we shall never grasp it, because we shall always think of it as being incomprehensible. The mind which we discover within us is the mind that governs everything. And this is the thing itself. And we should recognize its simplicity. God, Spirit, the divine, it is all there is. And so, yes, the answer to my first question about what we need in order to understand and embody the ideas of care, appreciation, gratitude, and compassion is a sense of the divine. One aspect of Spirit in which we recognize its simplicity is through our ability to be curious, to find wonder and awe in every facet of the world around us, which is all God. Now, this year, CSL is exploring the theme of living everyday wonder. And I'm really grateful, because this came at a time for me that was really important. It has come at a time for me where it's helping me to step back from the edge of what I thought maybe was a crisis of my own faith. You know, I hear of and I know of so many people who are redefining what is important in their lives, who say that they have lost passion for those things, and who, myself included, have been so desperately concerned for the state of our planet and our nations that we have moved into a state of being that is more unsettled, more fraught. And for me, this has been a huge struggle. It's been a struggle between resting in the faith that all is unfolding for the good, and needing at a very visceral level to know that enough people care about our planet and the course of our nation and the world to be confident that all will unfold in a way that takes the best care of our planet and the people who inhabit it. In spite of all my spiritual knowing and practice, I've been worried. I've been fearful that I was slipping away from my belief that good will prevail. But you know what's gotten me back on track? Is falling into this idea of wonder, allowing myself to be awed, amazed, and inspired, turning my attention to seeing with new eyes, eyes that see the beauty of the world around me, rather than only lamenting the chaos and destruction from floods and fires and our wanton use of natural resources. Eyes that fully take in the full and glorious expression of Spirit in the natural beauty around me. Maybe it's a sunset, or last week, the softly falling snow, or maybe it's the gentle breeze that moves the branches of the pine trees and evergreens in my backyard while the birds cling to them like surfers riding ocean waves. For me, wonder is the very beginning of gratitude, appreciation, caring, and compassion. In Ideas for Living, Ernest Holmes says that when a person stands in awe of grandeur, something deep within him responds. Something within him embraces the ocean, something within him melts into the mountain, and he becomes one with them. So, the use of gender pronouns aside, where in the world can you stand in awe of grandeur? Where can you find a sense of wonder in the world that inspires you, that keeps you from falling into despair, and instead entices you to become one with the trees, the mountains, and the ocean? Valerie Kaur wrote a book called See No Stranger, and in it she writes that wonder is the wellspring of love. When we orient ourselves to wonder, then it becomes possible to wonder not only about ourselves and our world, but to wonder about other people and the world that they are experiencing as well. We begin to understand that they are as vast as complex as we are. When we choose to wonder about people we don't know, we begin to expand our circle of those that we see as part of us. Just a part of us that we don't know yet. And it draws us closer and increases our empathy and compassion. Because truly, wonder is where love begins. We find wonder when we recognize the kindness and the smile of a stranger, even if we can't see it fully behind a surgical mask. I find it when I recognize the love in the eyes of my wife as she listens to my concerns and offers her support. Valerie Kaur goes on to say this about love, that love is more than a feeling. Love is a form of sweet labor. It's fierce, bloody, imperfect, and life-giving. A choice that we make over and over again. If love is sweet labor, love can be taught, modeled, and practiced. This labor engages all of our emotions because joy is the gift of love. Grief is the price of love. Anger protects that which is loved. And when we think we have reached our limit, wonder is the act that returns us to love. Wonder is the act that returns us to love. You know, in all that we've gone through in the past 2 years, we have had extreme and numerous opportunities to experience the grief and the anger of love. The grief of our loved ones dying or experiencing long-term consequences of contracting COVID or other life-depleting illnesses. The grief of our friends, neighbors, and loved ones, even people we've never met, as they experience the loss of their homes, the treasures of their memories, their livelihoods, as fire or water or wind have torn through their properties and torn those things away. We've experienced the grief that we may have felt at one time or another during this long and reoccurring period of uncertainty and isolation, and the fears for our loved ones and our own health and safety. But you know, yesterday I heard the most inspiring words from a woman who lost all of her worldly goods in the fire in Boulder County. She said that even though she starts out each day with tears for the things that she has lost in the destruction of her home, school pictures of her kids, family heirlooms like her grandfather's tool chest and her dad's baby picture, she finds silver linings during the day in all of the people who have rallied to help the fire survivors and the assistance that is available to help her rebuild her life. She says that despite all of her losses and the long days still ahead, she's hopeful about her situation. And more incredibly to me in that moment was that in this most upbeat and positive tone of voice, she said, "I'm just feeling like Jimmy Stewart at the end of the movie, It's a Wonderful Life, because I feel like the whole town has come out to support me and my family." That part is just amazing. Now the running and fleeing for our lives and knowing that my house is a little pile of rubble is not so fun. But the other parts are heartwarming and wonderful. It really got me. It moved me. Because I've lived through a house fire where beloved things were destroyed. I've lived in a motel for weeks and rented an apartment for months as our home was rebuilt. So I have a glimmer of an idea of what she's going through, and that she can be so upbeat and positive this soon, especially after her tragedy, really inspires me. I think we've all experienced the anger of love. The anger which drives us, well, it drives me anyway, sometimes to judgment when I observe others who believe that their personal freedoms outweigh the health and safety of my loved ones or the rest of the world community. The anger that I know is felt when we can't get proper health care for ourselves and our loved ones due to medical staff being unavailable because they themselves are sick or burnt out. The unavailability of necessary supplies due to breaks in the supply chain. The anger that we can sometimes feel because we have to be so hyper vigilant and ever adapting to yet another variant or crisis in our natural world. And I don't know about you, but I have been living for these last few months at the edge of what I thought might be my limit. And just when I was at my absolute limit of what I was thinking was really a crisis of faith, I was struck by the idea of wonder. The idea that wonder is the act that returns us to love. Because for me, it's in this idea and the act of love that we find that wonder really reveals our oneness, our interconnectedness, our interdependence, not only with spirit, but with every living being on the planet. You know, everything began as a divine idea, and Every form is a consciousness, an expression of consciousness. So I'm paying more attention. I'm noticing the interconnectedness of it all, the creativity, the beauty, the perfection. It's evident to me in the ancient Sanskrit truth, tattvam asi, I am that. It's evident in the African philosophy of Ubuntu that I am because you are. It's evident in the Mayan precept in Lakech, you are my other me. It is in the meaning behind the popular Hindu greeting, Namaste, that the divine in me bows to the divine in you. And really, I think it's the failure of wonder that creates this idea of separation, distrust, and violence. It's the failure of wonder that affords abuse of life on our planet. Guru Nanak, who is the founder of the Sikh tradition, calls us to see no stranger, which, as you may recall, is the title of Valerie Kaur's book. But to see no stranger is a high calling because it means loving people even when they don't love us. It means wondering about them even when they refuse to wonder about us. It means loving the people that we sit in judgment of, whether we feel that judgment is righteous or not. So I get this online newsletter called The Pause. It's produced by Krista Tippett's On Being Project. And this week she paid homage to Archbishop Desmond Tutu, who passed away a few weeks ago. And in her email, she talked about wonder and what a huge role it played in Tutu's work in the world. She said that we inhabit this world of so much uncertainty, so much reasonable fear. This activates our bodies and our minds toward rigid views of enemies and threats and obstacles and possibilities. Desmond Tutu believed in a world in which improbably surprising turns of event are a given. Indeed, his faith was in a God of surprises. And take it from me, when Desmond Tutu tells you something about God, whatever or whoever you imagine God to be, you believe him. She says that Tutu was one of those people who inspire her most because he reminded her that love is not the softest force, but often the fiercest. And thus it is, in fact, able to shift the world on its axis from time to time. When we return to love, we shift the world on its axis, our own world and the worlds that we create with our thinking, as well as the whole world. So I have this practice that I've done for several years now that helps me return to love. When I pass people on the street, maybe driving, or when I'm in the grocery line or wherever I am, I try to imagine what those people are experiencing in their lives right now. Where are they going and why? Why are they buying the food and supplies that are in their carts? What do they do for work? What do they do for fun? Wondering about other people's lives trains our minds to see more and more people as part of ourselves. And then for me, knowing that they are a face of God that I just haven't met yet, I send them a blessing for a day filled with love and goodness. Because this not only opens me to experience greater connections with others, but it lifts my own spirits. So give that a try next time that you're in line at some store or waiting for a service person to attend to your needs. Try it next time you see someone acting in a way that raises your hackles. Spiritual growth, yay. You know, when we do these practices, it returns us to love, and it truly does shift the world on its axis. I want to take a moment to remind you that if you are in a place of worry, fear, or doubt, please call for prayer. Our practitioners will help you remember the truth that God is all there is, and that as such, all things do work together for the good. Call the office or go to our website to find contact information and reach out to one of us. We're here to help you return to love. We are surrounded and immersed in awe-inspiring beauty, wholeness, and perfection. The universe is abundant and resplendent with good. There are no limits to the magnificence of the wonder that Spirit has created. Each person, each flower, each stone, each animal, each drop of water is a necessary and glorious part of the whole that is the divine. And the more we orient ourselves to the wonders that we encounter every day, and the more that we appreciate them as parts of ourselves or parts of ourselves that maybe we just don't know yet, the greater our capacity to love and to experience joy. And when we do that, we fully embody the meaning of the words that we repeat every week: care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. So before we move into discussion, let's just go inside together. Let's just repeat that together a few more times so that we really feel it and then take it into prayer. So with me again: care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. Care, appreciation, gratitude, compassion. So what I know in this moment and in every moment is that God is all there is. I know that each one of us is part of this divine, that even though we don't encompass the divine, that the divine encompasses us. And that we live, move, and have our being in this essence and presence that we know to be good. And that through us, through our expression of the divine, through us as us, that all good unfolds in the world. And so I know that I step up, and I have confidence that we step up because we are the representatives of love on earth. We are the hearts, the hands, and the feet, the voices, and the eyes of love on earth. And so I just breathe that in. I take that in, and I let it wash all of my fear and my doubt and my worry, my concerns, my questions. I let it wash all that away. And yet I let all of those fears and concerns and worries motivate me to step up, to continue to be my best expression of spirit right here and right now, so that I can fully not only embody, but act upon caring, appreciating, feeling gratitude, and practicing compassion with every other being that I meet, and for myself as well. And so knowing that we can rest in this love, I call it good. I call it well. All is well and all shall be well. And with great thanks, we anchor this together by saying, and so it is. Amen.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
So we're going to move into our discussion time now. We'll be in small groups so that you can chat amongst yourselves about the discussion questions that will be posted. And we will see you back here in about 15 minutes. Have a great time.